Well over 2 million people chose to watch the PNC Championship in golf, which was played in Orlando, Florida. And I will tell you that prior to Tiger Woods and his son Charlie playing in it, I did not know this tournament existed. I did not know this was an event that they did, that major champions and family members come together. A major champion, well, by now you know what it is because you watch Tiger and Charlie. And it is just unbelievable to me. I came across a tweet from Kyle Porter that says NBC's numbers for the event this week, they had about 2.3 million viewers. Earlier this year, they televised the Open Championship, better known in this country as the British Open. That's a major championship. For that, they delivered about 2.1 million viewers. More people chose to watch Tiger Woods and his 12-year-old son play this event that if they weren't in it, no one would even know it was happening, than watched a major championship in golf. And so we sometimes say an athlete is bigger than the sport he or she plays. In Tiger's case, that is 100% true. Tiger Woods is bigger than golf. And those numbers demonstrate it. Hembo, your reaction?
It's an astonishing figure. I have friends that aren't golf fans, but are fans of Tiger Woods. I do agree with you. The way that you said that was exactly right. My question for you, though, is Tiger Woods the most seen athlete of all time? Which is to say, like, the volume of eyeballs and for the amount of time that they have seen him on television or seen him anywhere. Has there ever been a more seen athlete than Tiger Woods?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean by seen, which is to say just the actual number of seconds he's been on television.
Sure.
Are you including social media? Because social media has just changed the dynamic so much. Like the athletes who have transcended sport, who have become far larger than the sport in which they compete. There's a handful of them, and we all know who they are. Certainly Muhammad Ali jumps to mind. Babe Ruth jumps to mind. Now, Babe Ruth would have been seen by one millionth of the number of people based just on, but that just is it's more a function of the world in which we live. The question, I don't know if this was the question you mean to ask me, but I think in my mind it's an even more interesting question. Is he the most famous athlete that we've ever had? And I think the answer is no. I think Muhammad Ali, man, at this point we're kind of splitting hairs.
No, but I guess my question, maybe I didn't ask it well. If you showed 100 random people in some random country, Tiger Woods and Muhammad Ali's picture, who would be more recognizable to those people?
Now, Tiger Woods. But if you had done that when Muhammad Ali was at his most famous, I think more people would have known him then than know Tiger now.
Muhammad Ali was more famous in his heyday than Tiger Woods was in his.
I think so. But yes, I think the answer to that is yes. Ali was a different kind of hero on other continents, particularly in Africa, than Tiger is. And not to say that golf isn't. I mean, he is a global figure. It's an interesting question. I'm not even really sure how we dive into the answer to it. His stardom is of an enormous magnitude. I've told this story before, but you make me think of it. My wife and I, when we went on our honeymoon, so this is in October, we went on a delayed honeymoon. It would have been October of 1997. We went to Morocco. We were in Marrakesh, Morocco, which I have described as the most obdurately foreign place I've ever been in my entire life. It's a fascinating, wonderful city. And there is a square there called the Djma El Fna, which is, I think literally translated into English means the square of the dead or something. I think that's what it is. But it was a place where you literally went and there are snake charmers that, that you can pay like $1 or whatever it is, and they'll put a snake on your neck for you if you want. Obviously, I didn't do that. the food that they're having outside, literally, it was like the heads of sheep on sticks that they're putting in a fire. It was as far away from home as I've ever felt anywhere. And there were kids running around, little kids, local kids, wearing Chicago Bulls number 23 jerseys.
Wow.
And it blew my freaking mind because for the overwhelming majority of my stay especially in that city. Like we were there, we were in Tangiers and Casablanca. Those are much more international cities, or at least they had a more, Tangiers is basically, it's adjacent to Spain. So it's a more European feel than it is. And again, I'm talking out of my rear end now, because it's like I don't really know the geography of this that well, but I experienced it once. But the point I'm making is that in a place that felt as far away from American culture as any place I could ever fathom being, they were kids wearing Michael Jordan jerseys. And that blew my mind. Now, would those kids today know who Tiger Woods is? I think maybe not. I think he might be slightly lower on that list than someone like Ali and Jordan,
Maybe
who I think
so.
have had, like you could show those people a picture of the President of the United States, and they might not know who it was. But they would have known, I think, Muhammad Ali.
But I do think that Tiger moves the needle in his sport relative to his sport more than anyone else, at least of my lifetime, for sure.
Ali would be an interesting comparison to that, because it's an individual sport. It's
Right.
very hard to put a team sport, like what did Babe Ruth do for baseball? What kind of impact did Babe Ruth overall have on baseball? Wouldn't it be similar if you could try and find a way to compare them? Michael Jordan elevated basketball to an already popular sport in this country to a level that it never had been before, and certainly played a role in the elevation of it globally. But it's very hard to compare an athlete in a team sport to an athlete in an individual sport. Either way, I like all that kind of conversation, to be honest with you. Having just said that, I just thought this ratings information was fascinating. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.